Hey everybody, welcome! My name is Kurt, aka the Vitruvian Gamer, and today I am doing my list of my top games I'm expecting to see at Essen Spiel 2015. And well, last year I went, there were great times, bought lots of games. The year before, same thing, so this year won't be any different. So let's see which games I really look forward to play, to try, and perhaps to buy. So let me first cheat a little bit by doing some honorable mentions, and let me start by two smaller games, both of Ludi Creations. And first thing is Microfilms. Is the game I done a preview for. Really like the game. Every time I play it, I like it a little bit more, so it's really a must-have for me now. So if you're interested in that, go see my video. And the other game is also a small game. It's a two-player cooperative game. It's called And Then We Held Hands. And in that game, the two players are trying to get their objectives done by playing cards or playing each other's cards, but they cannot talk to each other. It's not allowed to have verbal communication. So that's really interesting. I really like to try that one out, and I probably buy it to play with my girlfriend. The artwork is fantastic. It is by the artist who is also involved in the game Dixit, so well, you can now immediately understand that the artwork is fantastic. Now, what else do I have? Let me tell you a little bit about the game that will be one of the biggest releases of Essen, but it's not the one for me. So that's this category, big games that will sell lots of copies, but not for me. And then I'm talking about 504 of Friedemann Freeze, published by Stronghold Games. Well, this game, of course, is very special. It must have been so hard to design. It comes with a book with rules, but it's in three parts, and well, every part of the page you can combine them however you like. You always get different kinds of rules, so you get different games. And in total you have 504 combinations. Well, I'm not sure why it's not for me. The idea is fantastic, but there are lots of combinations which I really would not like, because I don't like that kind of mechanics in games. So a friend of mine is probably going to buy this, so I will check it out, but I'm not going to buy it. I'm probably not even going to check it out, really. I will do it afterwards when my friend has it here in Belgium. Alright, what else? I have two games that I probably take a gamble with in buying it, because first of all, I'm not sure if I will get the chance to play it that often. It's for a specific audience. And the other one is, there is not that much information about the game. I haven't seen any previews of it yet. I have read the rules and they look okay, but the games I'm talking about are Automobiles, a game by AEG, and WWE Wrestling Showdown or something like that. And well, these both look really fun. So the wrestling game, I've seen a couple of videos about it. And in this game, you play each turn. You play 3 cards, and your opponent does the same, and you flip each card one by one, and then it is kind of like your rock paper scissors mechanic. So one card beats the other, and then you can activate the card that has won the battle, and it does all kind of things while you move your wrestling guy on the board and try to make cool moves and try to pin your opponent or run his deck out of cards. Looks really fun. I'm not sure if I have enough friends who might be interested in playing it. Automobiles, on the other hand, well, first of all, it's the third game in this line. It's now complete, so now you have the Trains, Planes and Automobiles titles. Planes couldn't interest me at all. The theme was the mechanics weren't for me, but the Trains game I found really good. It's like the Dominion with a board. It was really nice to play. One of the 2 train games I like playing. And Automobiles is also a really different kind of game. This is a cube bag building game, so you have cubes which you can acquire. It's in a bag, and each turn you get a few of those cubes, and with those cubes you can select actions with your car. So you can drive, you can do pit stops and whatever you can do. I'm not sure what all in the game, but it really looks fun. I'm looking for this kind of racing game still. I have Jamaica as a racing game, a few others maybe, but this one sounds really interesting and I want to check it out. I was thinking about buying Thunder Alley because it really has good reviews, but it might be too much for friends of mine who like racing. So we'll see. I'm going to check this one out for sure. And then we will reach our last games before I do my real top 10, and that's 2 expansions. So I decided not to add expansions in my top 10, but there's 2 I'm really looking forward to. There are quite some expansions that are interesting, but these 2 are, well, no-brainers for me. And the first one is of course the Imperial Settlers expansion, the Atlanteans. I was lucky enough to play a prototype earlier this year, and this new faction is just great, so it's a no-brainer for me. It's one of my favorite games out there, and I can always use more cards and more factions for it, so that's a must-buy for me. And then the next one is the expansion for Roll for the Galaxy. For me, one of the best games out there as well, and it comes with Roll for the Galaxy Ambitions. Well, more dice, more possibilities, so more fun for me. I will definitely get that game, that expansion in my collection at Essen. Okay, so without further ado, let's go to my real top 10. And in this top 10 I gave each one of those titles also is special mention, so they each have their own category in why I want the game so badly. So let's start with number 10. My number 10 Essen release that I really want to check out is a game which I could have backed on Kickstarter, but I did not at the time. I'm not sure if I didn't have the money or if I was doubting too much. I guess it was the second one. Maybe the shipping cost was too high, not sure, but the game I'm talking about is Baseball Highlights 2045. And in this game you have your own baseball team, which is made up of humans and cyborgs and robots in the future, of course, with all their special abilities. And in this game it's kind of a deck building game in which you can acquire more players, better players, and you can play this in a solo session, or you can even play this in, you can make a tournament out of this or play a season, go to the World Series, and that really interests me in this game. I'm not sure if I get to play this that often because, well, baseball isn't that big here in Belgium. There are only a few teams here, but still I like the team and I like the idea behind it. So that is my regret game, number 10, Baseball Highlights 2045. Alright, my number 9, I already talked about some gambles or games I want to check out, the automobiles and the WWE game. And this game I probably buy, and that's my gamble of this year, and on number 9, and it's called The Bloody Inn. In this game, it's a card game, and each player is this innkeeper who, well, he doesn't want to make money by just having his inn. They want to have more money, and they do it by killing some of their customers and getting away with all their stuff. Of course, there are police members or the authorities are there, so you have to be careful when you kill them, and you have to bury them so nobody finds their bodies. Really interesting theme. Also, the artwork is a little bit quirky. Not sure if I like the artwork. I guess I probably realized if I like it or not when playing it. But this game really looks fun. It looks special. It's something different. So it's my gamble of this year at Essen, The Bloody Inn at number 9. Okay, my number 8 is this dexterity game, and you probably heard of it also already a lot. And well, I'm not sure I'm going to buy it because it's quite expensive, but it has a reason, because the pieces are great. There are all wooden pieces, and the game I'm talking about, of course, is FlickUp. FlickUp really looks awesome. I like the theme. It's a cowboy theme, so western theme, which I still think hasn't been used to its full potential. And well, in this game you flick your discs, you flick your cowboys and on the table, trying to shoot other guys, trying to complete missions, and you have all these different kinds of missions. There's already an expansion on its way where you can ride horses, and well, it looks like real fun. I just want to see it on my table and us flicking the discs. In my game group we like to play Crokinole, the disc flicking game. And well, I think, well, this might be something with team that does the same in a different kind of way, of course. But it's quite expensive. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy it, but I will definitely check it out at Essen, and that's my number 8. FlickUp. Number 7. For number 7 I chose the most interesting gateway game of Essen. It already has been released in the US and it gets great reviews, and I'm talking about New York 1901, a game by Blue Orange Games. In this game you try to gain points by building, well, different kinds of buildings in this setting of New York and 1901. The title says it so we will believe it. No, but this game looks really cool. People compare it to Ticket to Ride level, and for me that's really interesting because I do not like Ticket to Ride. I'm sorry for all you lovers there of Ticket to Ride, but I don't like Ticket to Ride. And this might be a great game to replace it as a gateway game with has some depth to it. So really want to check that out. It can be pre-ordered, so I'm still doubting if I will. Might try it out first at Essen. But this is definitely a very interesting one, and it's my number 7 anticipated game of Essen Spiel 2015, New York 1901. My number 6 is, well, the game I will call the Diamond in the Rough, because, well, it has been released in Europe already in French, I believe. It was called Le Poyou, if I'm not mistaken, but is now released by Cool Mini or not, and the game is the Grizzled. The Grizzled is a card game, a cooperative card game set in the stage of World War I, which is quite unique. That doesn't happen that often. And in this game you and your comrades are trying to survive the war by playing cards at the right time and by, well, not talking to each other because that's not allowed. Really interesting concept, of course. You want to avoid getting 3 of the same kinds of cards on the table, and you are trying to get one of the decks empty before time runs out. Looks really fun. It's apparently quite hard to play to win, but I like that in my cooperative games. So I am pretty sure I will get this one in Essen because it really looks really fun and really good. The fun part apparently is quite hard, it's quite challenging, and it's not a happy voyage you take, but still it's a game, so you'll have fun, and I think I will like it as well. So I will try that out and probably buy it. The Grizzled, my number 6. Okay, my number 5 is, well, I put it in 2 categories. First one is the number 1 hype game for me, and also the number 1 party game for me, and that is Codenames. Well, Codenames already got a lot of attention after Gen Con. It is this party game in which teams are trying to battle each other by, well, there are all these words on the table and you have to give clues to your party members by, well, saying a word yourself and adding a number to it. So if you say 3 strawberry, there are 3 words that you have to find, you and your team have to find, which have something to do with strawberries. In that way you are trying to create a pattern in your own color by flipping over those right words. If you answer it wrong, well, the other team gets their color revealed, which is bad because they are trying to do that as well. And then there's also one space. If that one gets turned around, well, you lose. So, looks really fun. Only downside for me is it's in English. I really wanted to wait for a Dutch version, but I am not a patient gamer. I wanted to have it already now, so I pre-ordered it and I will try it in English with my friends. If it doesn't work, I'm sure some Dutch publisher will get it also and will replace it with a Dutch version later. So that was my number 5, Codenames by CGE. My number 4 is there because of the mechanics. It's a mechanic I really use, and I'm talking about dice placement. I could have chosen another game, which is called Dice Town, but somehow this game interests me a little bit more, and that is Champions of Midgard. This is a game, apparently it's a little bit like Lords of Waterdeep, the famous game, which is really loved by many, but this one looks a lot more fun to me. The theme is nice. It's a Viking team game in which you send your Vikings to missions, fighting some tribes, having to eat food, going away on boats, and so on and so on. It's dice placement, which I really like. It's one of the mechanics I feel is not used enough. You have a few famous ones like Kingsburg and Alien Frontier, and this is a new one which looks really nice. I'm not going to buy it myself because a friend of mine, I'm happy to with my friends, so one of my friends has pre-ordered it, so I can try it out, his copy. I can borrow it from him if he wants to let me borrow it. So I'm looking at you. Yes, Yuri, if you don't mind, I'd like to borrow the game once to try it out. Or we can play it together, of course. So that's my number 4, the dice placement game Champions of Midgard, and that's one game about from Grey Fox Games. My number 3 is a special one because there isn't that much information about it. I've talked to the designer a little bit. There is, I think, 1 or 2 pictures on Board Game Geek of this game, but this game is my game with the most interesting theme of Essen 2015, and this game is called Pursuit of Happiness. Well, in this game, it's a worker placement game where you try to get the best life as possible. You live your life the best way you can. So you have to get a job, you have to have friends, you can marry. I'm not sure what else you can do because, as I said, there isn't that much information yet. Still, the board looks awesome, really colorful. The box looks like it's really a pursuit of happiness. And well, it really is a unique original theme. Apparently it's a little bit like CV, the game, but with that much more gameplay to it, and it looks really good. So there are only 300 copies that will be available at Essen, so I will rush to that booth. It's probably the first game I will buy at Essen right before I get my number 1 and number 2. No, my number 1, because number 2 I pre-ordered. So really interesting game, really want to try it out. It also has a solo variant, so if I buy it, you can expect one playthrough from me, that's for sure. So my number 3 anticipated game from Essen Spiel 2015, The Pursuit of Happiness, and that's by Artipia Games. My number 2 anticipated game is a 2-player game as well, and it's made by 2 designers, and 2 big designers, by Antoine Bauza and Bruno Catala. And of course the game I'm talking about is the 2-player spin-off of Seven Wonders, and it's Seven Wonders Duel. This game looks really awesome. It removes the drafting system of Seven Wonders, and it has this pyramid drafting system in this place. And in this game you can also win in different ways, not only scoring victory points. You can try to completely demolish your opponent by moving farthest ahead on the military track, or you can also be the best in the technology track. That might win you the game before you end the game and score victory points at the end of the game. So it looks really awesome. Reviews are great at this moment already, so it is a no-brainer for me. Has been pre-ordered, and I will I'm looking out to play this at home with my girlfriend. So my number 2, the 2-player game, Seven Wonders Duel by Repos Games. And that leaves us to one more. Which one will that be? Well, if you know me a little bit, I think you might guess it, but yeah, let's see. Over to number 1. And my number 1 game, well, it was close for a long time with Seven Wonders Duel, but then there was this review of one of the most famous board game reviewers, and well, that put my excitement over the top. So the number 1 anticipated release for me at Essen is Pandemic Legacy. What can I say about this? It is Pandemic, it is Legacy combined, so what can go wrong? So it is so for you who don't know the legacy concept, legacy means that a game evolves each time you play the game. So it can happen that you play the game and you have to add stickers to the board, you have to write on the board, sometimes maybe you might have to destroy some cards, and depending on how you play the game or what happens in the games, well, things might be opened or might be changed. So there will be envelopes in the game which you have to open if certain things happen. Some maybe you won't open ever, and that is just a fantastic thing. Okay, there is an ending to the story, of course. After X number of plays, well, the game will be over and not really replayable because all the board has changed, the envelopes have been opened, maybe some cards have been destroyed, whatever. But still, for I think 50 euros, you get about, well, I think 12 to 24 games out of this if you are really unlucky, or lucky, because you get more plays out of it. So it's really worth its money. I already know the players I'm going to try this out with, so I'm really looking forward to this. Really excited about this one. Looks awesome. It's Pandemic, which I love, and it's something unique with the legacy concept. So that's my number 1, Pandemic Legacy, of course, from Z-Man Games. And that's my top 10, so there's a lot of things to look forward to. Not only the games, because, well, I haven't told you yet, but I will be doing demos for Ignacy Cevicek for Portal Games. So if you want to find me somewhere, well, a few hours each day, I will be standing on that booth of Portal Games doing some demos for some great games as well. I haven't put them in my top 10 because, well, you might think I'm a little bit biased, so didn't mention them, but also Portal Games has a few great releases. We have Stronghold, there is Convoy, there's Rattle Battle, Grab the Loot, Ties of Time, and many more. A new expansion for Legacy, a new expansion for TCS, and I think I forget 2 more, well, the Atlanteans expansion, and there's one more, I think, because they had 8 releases, but I forgot the 8th one. No problem. So check it out there as well. And well, that was for me, for the free commercial for you, Ignacy, and I thank you viewers for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Feel free to comment below, just tell me which one are your most anticipated games, where I went completely wrong with thinking it will be a great game, what games I missed, what games I should have put on my list. Maybe some game that I haven't noticed that you think is just awesome, let me know, so I can also find out at Essen how great that game is. So, thank you all for watching this video. Feel free to subscribe, of course. Recently we hit 200 subscribers, which is awesome, but there's room for more, so come on in. And find me on Twitter, I'm at Vitruvian Gamer. And yeah, you can also find me on Board Game Geek at Vitruvian Gamer with an E instead of an I. And also on Facebook, you can find me on the same names. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all at Essen maybe, or afterwards with some reviews or playthroughs of new games. Right, so thanks you all, and see you guys in future. Bye bye.